Hi and welcome back to Follow Me Friday. I'm Amanda and I am here with Katie Hansen with Illuminate Painting. So thank you for joining us. We're just going to talk a little bit about what you guys do. So how did Illuminate Painting start here in Abilene?
So Manly is our owner, and he met his wife Alex at ACU.
Okay.
Go Wildcats. That was pretty exciting.
Oh yes.
So anyway, he grew up painting with his dad. His dad has been a painter for like over 40 years, and he just had this dream to start his own business. And they actually came up with the name Illuminate because they wanted a way to shine the light of Christ to the community.
Oh, yeah.
And also, you know, in the industry that we're in, a lot of times people hire someone to landscape or paint or do some kind of, you know, construction on their home, and they end up with less than stellar quality work. And not a lot of accountability from those contractors.
Right.
And so Manly really wanted to focus on the integrity of the business and make sure that we were delivering excellent customer service, that we were making sure that they were 100% satisfied before we walked away from a job.
Right.
And just to give a good reputation to that group of that trade.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And then after a few years, we started in 2016, and after a few years, Manly's dad, Mike, also is one of our employees whose father also paints. So it's definitely generations of painters.
That's great.
But anyway, so Manly's father, Steven, said, you know what, I don't want to run my own business here in the Dallas area anymore. Will you buy me out? And so Illuminate expanded into the DFW area. And so that's why you'll see that we serve both regions.
That's awesome. I love that generations, so tons of experience. And
yes, our project manager grew up painting with his dad as well. And so, I mean, he's got like 10, 11, I think he has over 11 years of painting. And then my husband is the sales director. He spent summers as a teenager painting with his father, had his own little painting business in San Antonio for a time when I was a teacher, and I would paint with him in the summer.
Oh, fun.
And then he started working for Sherwin-Williams, and they moved us to Waco and then to Abilene, and we thought we'd only be here for a couple of years, but then he left and started working for a local business, so we got to stay, and it's just been amazing. So yeah, lots of family ties and experience.
That's really good to hear. It's a lasting thing since there's so many generations there.
We have 2 boys, and I'd love to see them painting as teenagers in the summertime.
It's a great thing for them to learn.
Yeah, it's a great skill set.
Right. So what all services do you guys offer to the community?
So we do residential and commercial painting, and I only mention that because we love to paint small businesses. We actually did Florence Posies and Honey and Fig Gelato. Yeah,
that's fun. We did an interview there.
Yes, I saw that. We love the Pattons. They're good friends of ours, and we did the. So we did the cabinets, the green cabinets, and then we also painted the white brick. And so we can do brick, cabinetry, interior, exterior. We can do accent walls, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And we also offer like lime wash, which is a little bit of a different process than painting brick.
Okay.
So
might have to ask you more details about that.
Yeah. Well, we don't do the German schmear.
Okay.
So Magnolia and now Fixer Upper made the German schmear like so popular.
Yes.
But what people don't realize is that's actually mortar, and so when you put it on, you can't control it as much, and then you also don't have the versatility to go back and change it. So if it's not going to be your forever home, or if you hire someone that doesn't do a great job, you can't fix it. But with lime wash, when you apply it, you're actually applying the coating and then you're taking some of it away so that the natural brick peeks through the white.
Okay.
And if it's too much or too little, you can go back and adjust it accordingly to make it just what the customer wants. Because some people like a lot peeking through, some people want it mostly white looking, and then you are able to paint over that later if you decide you want to change it.
Oh, that's very cool. I didn't know what that was. So you also do epoxy flooring. What is the benefit of having that put down, say, on your garage floor or your patio?
Yeah, well, it's just going to add, it looks a lot better, it's a lot easier to clean, and it actually toughens the surface so that you're not getting those cracks and the weathering on the concrete itself. But actually, people like even like doing it within their home. Like, we have a playroom in our house that was, I think it was originally like a screened-in porch, and so it's concrete, and we plan on doing it in there because it's easy to clean when the dog comes in and out or the kids. You don't have to worry about, carpet being down there or some more expensive flooring like wood laminate or tile or whatever.
So then you wouldn't have to worry about stains or anything on top epoxy.
Exactly.
It's much easier to clean.
Yeah.
For a playroom, that would be a great thing to do. Do you guys offer any decorative painting? Say I wanted to put a mural in my living room or something.
No, that's a great question.
Like that?
So we have worked with muralists in the past, and we can usually subcontract them to finish out the job if it's just one area. It really just depends. But if it's something relatively simple, like we've done horizontal stripes or vertical stripes in, a kid's room or an office, we can definitely do that. And also, accent walls, because we can cut in and make those lines nice and clean for you. That's definitely not something you want to do yourself.
No, not at all. No, not this one. I definitely wouldn't do that on my own. I'm not a painter. How about if, do you guys have a design consultant? Like, there's so many colors out there.
Yeah.
So is there someone that could help you narrow down what would look best in your space?
Yes. So we offer color consultations, and I'm actually the one who does them. So just years of being married to my husband, painting, and also working in a paint store. I have lots of paint color just in my head, but I have all the tips and tricks too. So you can actually get a color at 50%, 75%. So what that means is it's not as saturated. And so if you find a color and you're like, I like this, but I want it to be a little more muted, so I can work with you to do that.
Oh, that's very interesting.
So what I do is I come out and I bring the swatches. Obviously, I find out kind of if you have an idea of what you want to begin with. A lot of times it's whites that people are hung up on, and
they all look different in different lighting.
Yes, they do. And so that's the key too. Is we use drawdown sheets, is what they're called, instead of swatching on your actual wall, because the sheen on the samples is not necessarily going to be the sheen that you use in your home. And if you're not careful, you'll get something called ghosting, which is where the sheen, like, even though you used the same color, the area where it was swatched in the sheen kind of peeks through.
That's
weird. If you're not a painter's wife, you might not notice it, but if I come over, I'll notice it.
You'll know. That's funny.
So we use these sheets, and then you just tape them up to the wall, and then that way you can see what they look like. You can move them around. You can let the sun rise and set.
The wall first.
Right. Not initially.
That's very cool. So how many teams of painters do you guys have?
So currently we have 6 teams working, and our crews range between 2 and 3 people. We have one crew leader who oversees the job and makes sure that everyone is on track. But then we also have our project manager. His name is Mike. He has like over 11 years of painting, grew up painting with his dad as well. And so he goes to all 6 jobs that are working.
Okay.
And make sure that everybody is on track, needs anything, you know, just touches base that way. And then that way, the homeowner also has multiple points of contact. They can get in touch with the crew leader, they can get in touch with our project manager, Mike, or they can also, usually one of our residential sales people will also give their phone number, Zach or Brandon, or even Manley himself. So lots of ways for them to get in touch with us if they have any concerns.
That's great. Great communication. So, what's
Well, I should say though, with the 6 crews, like that's what we have currently. So depending on the size of the job, if we have to bring people from our Dallas crews to help us with a larger commercial job, we can do that. We use a board to keep track of all the jobs and where they're at in the progress, because not every job is going to take the same amount of time.
Right.
And so it's just keeping those moving parts all sorted out.
Right, yes.
And so it could be that, you know, this crew finishes and this crew finishes close together, and then they do a larger job together.
Okay. So minimizes your team, but maximizes the amount of people working on it.
That's really just depends on the space and the scope of the project.
Yeah. So what method do you use to paint?
So we have a proven process system, you know, step-by-step system that we've put into place for interior, just like walls, cabinets, and exterior.
Okay.
And so whenever someone asks for an estimate, we always walk through that with them and show them exactly how we're going to do it. Now, so for exterior, you know, we're going to power wash. We're going to make any repairs that need to be done, rotting wood that needs to be replaced, or those kinds of things. Scraping, a lot of times, it'll look worse before it looks better. You know, like you tell your kid to clean their room.
Oh, yes.
Or you start cleaning out your kitchen cabinets. But yeah, if we don't go in and power wash and scrape, then really we're just slapping paint on a bad paint job to begin with, and it's like when you try to touch up your nails in between salon visits, it doesn't look good. It may have saved you some money, but it would have been better to just let the professional fix it for you.
Take it off and start all over.
Yes. And then for cabinets, it really just depends, like, for the steps, if it's lacquered or you know, if they're stained or painted, and what they're going to. But we still have that step-by-step process that we follow, and that way we know that we're doing a really great job every single time.
Oh, that's great.
That we're hitting all those points.
So do you guys use rollers, or do you, I know some people spray the walls if it were interior?
Oh, that's a really great question. So we do have spray guns, and then we also have, you know, we do use rollers depending on what it is. So like if it were a empty office building where everything's getting one color, you know, real fast paced job, we could spray that. We spray cabinets because we want them to have a seamless finish. You can usually tell when someone's painted their cabinets themselves because they brush it on, and you'll see the drip marks, and it's just not as smooth. But as far as like if you were just having your living room painted, yeah, we would roll that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So having you guys come and do the consultation and then decide on what we wanted you to paint, would we have to move our own furniture and cover it all up, or would you guys take care of, you know, making sure that the room was clear and ready to go for the job?
Yeah, so we can definitely move the furniture away from the walls if the homeowner would like us to. Sometimes we ask them to help us with it just because, you know, we don't want anything to be damaged or put somewhere where they don't want it. But like you asked about the spraying, I mean, when you're rolling a living room, the other thing is when you're spraying, you're gonna get the overspray, which, I mean, we definitely prep all surfaces. But yeah, you just really need, like if you're doing a living room, again, you would just need the furniture away from the walls. They could be in the center of the room, but yes, we would make sure everything was covered, cleaned up, taped off.
Yeah.
Good to go. And we actually don't spray cabinets in the home.
Okay.
The cabinet doors, we take them to our spray shop because we don't want our homeowners to have to deal with that mess.
Yeah, well, and then there's probably more space for them to dry. They
Exactly.
don't get hung back
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
That would make sense. Okay, so how can people get a hold of you guys if they'd like to get a quote getting their house painted?
Okay, so they can give us a call at 267-9163, or you can actually go to our website, illuminatepainting.com, and there is a spot on there to schedule your own estimate.
Oh, that's great. That
Sometimes
makes it
people
easy.
reach out to us on like Facebook Messenger and Instagram, and we love responding to messages on there. It's just not the best way to schedule.
Right.
But it is a really great spot to see all of our work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
before
we'll
and
have
afters.
everybody check out your Facebook and your Instagram pages so they can see all of your great work. And we thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
When your home needs to sell.